You've probably seen clips like this, haven't you? And maybe you thought, surely it's just genetics, right? They're probably like 5'2" or 120 pounds. But is it actually genetics, or is it just a lazy excuse? In this video, I'm gonna be exposing the truth when it comes to genetics in calisthenics. How much do they matter? Is it possible to have genetics so bad that you just can't really do calisthenics? These are all questions you're gonna get answers to in this video. And to help you understand it better, I've broken this video down into 6 separate parts. You can come back to any one if you need. So without further ado, let's go. Now, what do genetics actually mean? Well, obviously, genetics are all of the capacities, the limb length, the metabolisms. It's everything that you're born with that you can't change. And how much does this actually affect calisthenics? Well, actually, it affects it a lot. There is an optimal genetic build for calisthenics, but we have to stop for a second. Look at literally any other sport. Basketball, football, powerlifting, soccer. They all also have optimal genetic builds. And for me to sit here and act like calisthenics is different would just be stupid. But what does this optimal genetic build look like? You want to be very short, you want to be very light as well, naturally low body fat, you want to have short limb length, you want to have naturally thick tendons because it's easy to get injured in calisthenics, and then you want to have a very good natural ability for recovery. And yes, if you have all of these, you're extremely likely to be good at calisthenics if you actually do some training. But here's the question: does that mean that if you have bad genetics that you're just doomed? Well, as you probably expected me to say, absolutely not. Right in front of me, or wherever I put it on the video, are multiple people that are over 6 feet tall and over 200 pounds that are doing some of the hardest skills in calisthenics, right? But if they can do all these skills, then what difference does the genetics actually play? Like, what difference do they genuinely make? Well, the only thing that your genetics will actually affect is your skill ceiling, meaning what your maximum level at calisthenics is, your rate of progress, which is just how long it takes you to reach your goals, your training tolerance, meaning how long you have to recover, how often you can train, how hard you can train, your injury risk, and then technically your body composition. But if we're just talking about calisthenics in terms of strength and skills, then that obviously doesn't really matter. But the chances that you have all 5 of these is insanely low. And even some of the worst skill ceilings are still considered to be a pretty elite level of calisthenics for most people that don't do calisthenics. Even if you have terrible genetics and you've maxed out your skill ceiling, people are still going to look at you and be like, wow, that guy is strong. Realistically, the worst that your skill ceiling could get is probably a good form straddle planche or a very bad form full planche, plus multiple other kinds of pushing skills like handstand push-ups. You'll be able to have a clean front lever, muscle ups, one arm pull up, and then probably a plus 80 to 100% of your body weight on weighted calisthenics skills like pull-ups and dips. And realistically speaking, in my 10 years of gymnastics and 4 years of calisthenics, so almost 15 years combined, I've never seen someone with genetics so bad that they were unable to do some of these things. And that includes online as well. I literally have not seen a single person with genetics that bad. So the chance that you are that 0.0001% is 0.0001%, like it's close to nothing. So if you're watching this video, you are able to do these skills. Now, if you have bad genetics, will you have to grind more to get these skills? Absolutely. But if you actually want it, you will 100% be able to do it. The only things that poor genetics would really make you completely unable to do is skills like a one-arm front lever or a straight arm touch or some of the crazy skills on the rings. Those are the kinds of things that genetics will limit you to do. But if you just want these things, I mean, it might be out there, but I've never seen somebody that's been unable to do them. Right, now, these guys look like genetic freaks, right? Like they were literally born in a fucking planche. But what you're seeing is not good genetics. You're seeing survivorship bias. You're only seeing the few who didn't quit. You're not seeing the millions of people who had amazing genetics but didn't actually reach their full potential. People assume that I got where I got to now because of good genetics, but that's definitely not true. I've been doing handstands since I was a jit, like dead ass. And I've been doing like actual calisthenics moves for over 4 years. And even though I've been training them somewhat incorrectly, I was still able to get to a pretty significant level. Now let's take Chris Heria, for example. You definitely know who that is. He's about 5'10" and 180 pounds, which is considered like pretty damn heavy for a calisthenics athlete. Most of the elite calisthenics athletes are in the 130s. So on paper, his genetics aren't very great. Like they're just not. But he's elite because he refused to stop. He just kept going. He was able to build world-class skills despite leverage that worked against him. Let's also take these 2 gentlemen right here. It's the same story with both of them. They're both about 5'10", and they're absolute monsters at calisthenics. Like, just look at this. It's insane. Their genetics are worse than me. Genetics did not make these people elite. Consistency did. Now let's take a different example. Nathan Bosech. If you don't know who this is one of the best calisthenics athletes on the entire planet. Now, contrary to the other people I just showed you, he does have amazing genetics for calisthenics. He has a compact build, he has short limbs, he has strong tendons. He's literally built for this. But even for him, it took him 7 years to reach his current level. 7 years. That's a long ass time. That was 2018. Damn, 2018 was 7 years ago. Wow. So yes, genetics do matter, but the only people who ever reach their potential are the ones who stay long enough to see it. Hear the sound of this beautiful fountain? Wow, absolutely beautiful, isn't it? All right, so I'm sure you've seen it. Literally everybody just worships good genetics. But the truth is that when everything comes easy, like there's no depth. You never actually build anything real. That's better. You never have to outthink anything. It just comes naturally. Now, if you went to public school, I'm sure that you know that one annoying ass cocky kid that was just good at everything. He was a bitch about it. And like everything literally was just easy for him. All right, why do you think he's cocky? And what does he have? From my experience, they have no passion. They're cocky about everything. They have very little work ethic or respect for the grind, and that's exactly why they never end up becoming great at anything. Most of them, at least. It's because they've literally had the easy way their whole life. They've never had to work for anything, so when they actually have to work for something the first time in their life, it's like the whole new beast. The guy with like literal perfect leverages might learn a planche in 6 months, but then quit after that because everything after that requires years of training to actually get. But the guy with bad leverages spends 3 years figuring out how to get a planche and then learns from that experience. He figures out every angle, every cue, every recovery method. And then in that process, he becomes a teacher, a coach, someone who actually respects and understands the art of what they're doing. So if you have really bad genetics, you're being forced to understand what everybody else takes for granted. You become analytical, you learn patience, and then you start respecting the process instead of just chasing little dopamine hits. And this sounds cliche, but struggle literally creates the power to stay. When you're built from struggle, you learn not to quit because quitting has never been an option. If you quit, you just won't get the thing that you want. Really easy success always creates ego. It always creates ego, but hard success always creates wisdom. At least in my experience. You might have a different experience. So don't sit here and wish that you had good genetics. You want to sit here and wish that you have the patience to outlast everyone who does have good genetics. Okay, so obviously you cannot change your skeleton. I don't think I'm breaking any news by saying that, but you can change what's on it. You don't need perfect genetics, but if you do have bad genetics, what you do need to do is manipulate what you do have and make it easier for yourself. So you need to have a more structured training plan. You need to know how you're going to get there. You need smarter mechanics, essentially, because obviously you can't make your arms shorter, but you can make your technique a lot tighter, which makes the angle of your arms not need to be as short for something like the planche. Some people need to recover for 48 hours. Some people need to recover for like 96. It's not a disadvantage, it's just data. And once you understand your recovery curve, you can use that to your advantage, just like everything else in calisthenics or with your genetics. And nutrition and sleep are your natural performance enhancers. Deadass, if you are skipping sleep, bro, you are skipping free ass recovery. Like on everything I love, if you are skipping sleep, you're a dumbass, bro. Mobility and tendon conditioning are going to be very important, especially if you have bad genetics for tendon health. And that's going to let you train for longer than the guys who just rely on pure power. Because trust me, warming up your tendons and actually making sure that they're healthy is going to carry you a lot farther than the people who just have good tendon genetics. So no, obviously you can't redo your DNA, but you can re-engineer your outcome for what you want it to be. Realistically, you can control everything that you can control, if that makes sense. Don't try to control things that you can't control and you won't be unhappy. It's really that simple. Control the things that you can control and do the best that you can do with manipulating those factors. All right, so realistically, most people do not have bad genetics. They just don't. Most people have either okay genetics or slightly good genetics. But what most people do have is very bad consistency, and that's why they think they have bad genetics. Please do not talk about your genetic limit until you have reached your genetic limit. Most people train hard for like 2 or 3 months and then just disappear. That's not how this is gonna work. Trust me, you will not reach your genetic limit that way, and if you train like that, you have no excuse to be complaining about your genetics. Most people, including you, have never even trained hard enough to know what your genetics actually are. If you think you're plateaued, then try being 100% consistent for the next 2 years, and I guarantee your life will change. Track your sessions, dial your recovery, actually stick to a plan, don't just do random shit. Stay in it for the long game, because realistically 99% of people are just gonna quit. 99.999% of people will never even reach their genetic ceiling. Trust me, I'm gonna say this again, and I will say it a million more times. You do not have a right to complain about your genetics if you have not reached a level to where your genetics actually matter. Now, if you're 6'10" and you're struggling with a straddle planche, then okay, maybe you have a right to complain about your genetics. Within the scope of reality, brother, like if you're 6'2", there's people that are 6'2" that can do a full planche. So just don't complain. Consistency beats potential every single time. I mean, you see this in literally everything. Now, while yes, the people who become the top of the top do often have good genetics and work hard, that doesn't mean that you can't be one of the greatest without good genetics. Man to man, bro, like there's no script for this part. That is why I'm making this video, because there are so many people out there that are destroying their chances to do anything they want with their life just simply because they don't believe they can, because of where they came from or how they grew up or their genetics, as in this video. We're all finding so many reasons nowadays to stop ourselves from actually achieving anything, from helping anyone. And if we carry this up, more than half of the people in our generation are gonna literally end up figuratively on the street. That is the overarching theme of this video. Genetics do not matter. They shouldn't matter at all. Do they have an effect? Yes. Do they matter? No. Worrying about your genetics cannot possibly help you in any way, shape, or form. Unless it's the very specific examples I gave you. That is the only time when genetics matter, is if you're actually like genuinely trying to become world class at something. And even then, it doesn't matter. You're just leveraging it so you can get the best outcome for yourself. But brother, after this video, I just want you to take all thoughts of genetics out of your brain. I want you to take every thought of your limb length or your height or your weight. I want you to take it out of your brain, because it's not helping you. It's just making your ability to actually do what you want worse. Lock in and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Let's fucking go.